Hi, everybody, and welcome to this series of One-on-One. We're talking with Dave Goddard, the athletic director of Arlington High School. A lot of changes happening in athletics and Arlington in general, and just over the last couple of days we've heard some other changes we'll talk about. Let me just tell you this right off the bat. Dave's a little shy, and he doesn't really feel comfortable talking about himself, but we're going to change all that today because it's all about Dave as he leaves his post as the athletic director, getting set to retire.
Yes, athletic director for 16 years, and took over for Dick Beams in 2000. Pretty proud of the fact that Arlington's only had 3 athletic directors. Followed Fritz Jordan, which people who've been in this area their whole lives obviously know the legacy that he left, and then Dick did an outstanding job. So I was the third person. Prior to that, teacher and a coach.
Baseball
years.
Coach.
Yeah, and coached football as well. But yeah, I guess known for baseball, and started that in the early 80s, and for 17 years. So yeah, I've had 2 separate careers: 17 as a teacher coach, and 16 as the athletic director. So yeah, it's gone by. I never thought I was going to say this, but now I'm feeling, wow, it's amazing how quickly it did go. And I'm very fortunate. Learned a long time ago that if you surround yourself with good people, then things will be okay.
That's true.
And I'm fortunate that I've had great coaches, great superintendents to work for, including our current superintendent, and I have Maureen's the best secretary there is, and again, the support staff from the maintenance folks and bus drivers, and just on and on, custodial staff. I'm lucky. Arlington is pretty special when it comes to that.
Because you deal with all of them, especially on a day when maybe not today, but there's rainouts, and then you've got to deal with that.
Yeah.
But I want to get to, you mentioned football, and I want to get to football because that's on everybody's minds right now. The announcement that Tom Dimaggio has decided that he's going to leave the program after 9 years and go to be the head coach at Nyack. So you would think, all right, so you're already retired for the most part. You're just on your way out, and that they would have to find somebody. But no, you're challenged with finding a replacement.
Right. Well, first of all, with Dom leaving, that's tough because what a great job he did and what a special job he is. And in my career, there haven't been many people. I mean, he's up there with, the Gary Montaltos, the people along those lines that really make this incredible connection with kids. Yeah. And I think you've known that and have seen that personally yourself. That he's more than just a football coach. I mean, he's inspired young men to become young men.
A couple of years ago, you were one of the people spearheading a switch over from Section 1 to Section 9. It went to the 11th hour. It looked like it was going to happen, and then at the last minute things turned and it didn't. Are you disappointed by that?
Well, I wouldn't say... was I disappointed? I was. I tried not to take it, personally, but I didn't do a good job with that, quite honestly, in reflecting on it, of being able to articulate the passion that I have. And others who have expressed to me over the years, including our own coaches, about trying to establish what used to be a real close-knit environment. And as you may remember, and I guess this is where I kind of blew it, that I guess not as many people remember like I do the way athletics used to be, where Arlington would play Kingston and Newburgh and large schools and be part of what was called the DCSL. If you remember those days. Those were pretty great times. And when I became the athletic director, I had numerous people who were around saying, I can't figure out this Section 1 thing you're playing. We never played, Mayapack, Carmel, Yorktown, and so on. And I thought that it would be to our advantage at Arlington to look into making that move and to go into Section 9 and kind of recreate that, to give Dutchess County sports a little bit more of an identity. Listen, I have great colleagues in Westchester, my fellow ADs, and in Rockland and so on, but let's face it, Section 1 is a lot of Rockland, a lot of Westchester schools, and not many Dutchess County schools.
Yep.
So you could fill in the blanks there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And I've witnessed that and experienced it. And and again, great colleagues. It's not their fault. They're trying to protect their own schools and do what's best for their own schools. I was trying to do what was best, in my opinion, based on my experience, what was best for Arlington. And there were certainly some advantages to going to Section 9 as far as costs and transportation and things along those lines that we figured out would be a moderate savings. But again, and listening to our coaches at that time, what they were experiencing, trouble finding games to play. At Arlington, and I get this, I've gotten this a lot over my career, is that when you're a school our size, it's very challenging because people expect, because we're so big, that we should win everything. Yeah, that's always been, quite a large challenge that I've had being an AD of a large school. That philosophy that, again, we should be state champions in everything. And then there's people who are going to hear this and say, well, you should be. But I get that a lot.
All right, so what's the plan now? You retire and what? You don't go down to Florida, right?
No. I don't really have a plan, and people have asked me that. And first of all, thank you to all the people who say that I look too young to retire. That was nice to hear. But my problem is going to be letting go. I know that. I am going to struggle with it. I've struggled with it recently. We had a sports awards, and coaches said some wonderful things. Student athletes said some wonderful things. It's a little embarrassing, again, because I'm not used to it. But again, used to being out in the forefront. And Kim Costello came up on stage and she read something that I just lost it. It was just, and she was representing all the coaches, and it was really a neat thing and something I'll always remember. But again, Arlington's a pretty special place. We got some great kids, great coaches, and it'll be a big void. That's you get labeled something, and being obviously growing up and going to Arlington and living in the community and so on, it becomes part of you. Yeah. And I'm a little worried about that part of it, letting go, but. It's exciting on the other end, I hope, to see what the future will bring.
Yeah, well, if you ever you're looking for something, we need a scheduling person here, because our scheduling sometimes gets, and I know you're really good at that.
Well, it's not my favorite part of it.
It's not ours either. It's a challenge.
Yeah. It's like, Maureen, would you mind?
Maureen Mongelli is just phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
No question about it.
So let me say this in closing. First of all, I have great respect for all athletic directors in every school district over the years, and I've known so many of them in the 27 years or whatever that I've been doing this. But I have a particular affection for you and what you do, and appreciation and a respect for all you do, because a lot of people don't realize the behind the scenes things that has to happen. You're at every event. I don't know what your home life must be like, because you're always at fields and you're just doing so many things. You're working so many hours, and you have been so committed to the program with no ego involved ever. And I just, I want to, on behalf of everybody else, want to thank you for that.
Thank you. And just, since you brought up closing, thank you as well. We've known each other a long time, and right back at you as far as respect goes. And you are correct, athletic directors put in a tremendous amount of time. School districts go easy on your athletic directors because it is challenging, but you are right. It is at times daunting, and I remember hearing long ago, I can't take credit for this, I don't remember what athletic, I was young athletic director at the time, and I remember someone said, first of all, as being an AD, you can't have an ego. If you have an ego, you're going to struggle, because it's not about you. You deflect it towards your coaches, or try to take it off of your coaches when you can and absorb it, when there's issues. So you can't have a big ego, and I tried not to. And you are correct, and you mentioned my home life. Yeah, I'm really, I have an incredibly lovely wife, Carla, that is so understanding. We don't have children, so she, this is kind of, my thing, and she's embraced that and has been very supportive. When she met me back in Cortland years ago, her mom said, "Be careful, watch out for those phys ed guys, don't get hung up with those phys ed guys." And sure enough, she found a phys ed guy, and it happened. But I heard long ago, just back to that, the only real statistic of an athletic director, because I just mentioned to you on air that there's no statistics for ADs. It's not anything other than merely years of service and number of kids. But I remember an AD saying the only thing that is a statistic for an athletic director is years of marriage.
Oh, wow. That's
so
good.
I think that's pretty good.
And how many years?
31, yes. 31,
Wow.
31 to 85, yeah, 31. So, yes, that's my statistic right there, that I made it through, and with still 31 years of marriage. So,
So you guys can walk hand in hand into the sunset.
Yeah, well, she'll still be working.
So now you're being alone.
Yeah, well, that's all right. The list is long. As far as things I will have to do.
Yeah.
But
Dave,
it'll be a fun list.
Thanks so much for taking the time out to come in.
Thank you for everything that you've done as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for everything you've done for the community.